Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Swedish Tier 10 heavy tank, the Kranvagn. Now the Kranvagn is a tank that I really enjoy, I always have done, and that's because the mobility is pretty damn nice, especially if you add things like the powertrain and smooth ride. The turret armour is godly, the gun handling used to be annoying, but with 6.0 it's not annoying because vert stabs make it 20% more accurate, and then you're also 10% more accurate with crew skills, and you're better at firing on the move, better on the turret traverse. You know, the gun is just way better, and it's one of those things that with 6.0, the derpy gun handling of the tank with 0.38 accuracy doesn't matter anymore. And yeah, the only real thing that lets this tank down is its penetration at 248 on the APCR round. That really is the letdown. Because it does have a 3-second intro clip, which does feel like a long time, but you have turret armour. So, unlike a 50B, for example, it doesn't feel like an age when you're unloading on something, because you can sit in front of them, go hull down, laugh, and just not get penned in the turret. And it's a wonderful thing. I've really clicked with this tank, always have, just because of the ability to go so aggressive in it and be able to take flak. And yeah, it's just one of those tanks that I do enjoy a hell of a lot. If you haven't guessed by the title, as always, as well, this is the video for which I will achieve the 3rd mark of excellence in this tank. So we've got 3 replays, you know, 2 preceding the 3rd mark and the 3rd mark video itself. And yeah, it's a great tank. I had a lot of fun doing it. And this was 3 marked after the 3 MOE after the MOE changes. So, in terms of a crew, what do I run on this tank? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Trap Mechanic, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, and Smooth Ride. Like I say, run all the gun perks because the gun is derpy. Smooth Ride to help the mobility a little bit better. You know, just help you with those terrain resistances. It helps you get away quicker, and it's a lot nicer to have. And that's why I run that. In terms of equipment, I run Optics, Vert Stabs, and Powertrain. Now, I could run vents to get, you know, better DPM, slightly better accuracy, all that good stuff. But, you know, it's more about just helping the mobility. Because the mobility is a little bit lackluster. And if you help it out with the powertrain to get that better horsepower, not just the better top speed, and then run smooth ride, you get up to the top speed pretty nicely. So in this first game, on Overlord, we have managed to get 4.5k damage so far. 537 assistance, but this northern flank we were on has fallen apart. We managed to get rid of an M60, and now this 113 is yellowing after us. We managed to pull back into this good position here with some dead cover, get ourselves around the dead cover, and shut down that 113. Now, the manoeuvres there were quite important because we realised that flank was dying. Unfortunately, the I-7 rushed in as well, but he was good enough a distraction for me to be able to try and get as much damage out on those guys as they were coming in really aggressively. But when he went, I had to get away. When he died, I had to get away. I got back behind this ridge line. The 113 was coming for me, so I had to ignore the 1390, who was trying to pen me. I had to ignore him so that I could not get hit by the 113 who was charging after us. And we managed to maneuver around that dead wreck, or the cover in this map, to not get hit by that 113. Now, I knew I had to run back towards my TD and my medium tank because they would probably give me help with that 113 if it came charging after us, which is exactly what happened. Now we're against this Type 5 heavy. We've got a full clip. We put one into his tracks. I was hoping to track and pen. Unfortunately, that doesn't pen either. It's like, well, okay, I'm just going to take the hit from this Type 5 heavy, finish him off, and then I can move into a good position to get shots into this Sturm Tiger. But artillery gets involved. But it doesn't matter because the team managed to carry it through. We finished with 7 kills, 6.6k damage. Devastator, Ace Tanker, Sniper, High Caliber, Top Gun, 1744 base XP. A really nice game for the Kranvagn. And yeah, that game was basically about manoeuvring and knowing where you needed to be before, or it's basically just trying to work out what the enemy team was going to do before it happened. And yeah, it was one of those games where we were just constantly on the retreat, but it was where the Kranvagn was nice because we were always on a ridge line, which meant we were always durable. You know, we were always going to bounce stuff off our turret, and we had enough time to just keep dropping the clips constantly, staying alive, and we had just enough support that we weren't going to die instantly. And unfortunately, we could have had more in that game, but artillery's artillery, right? So we're on to the second game. And this second game, we're on Alamein. And I'm going to go to a position that is a really nice position for this spawn. And that is the position at G5. Now, G5 is a very good position. It's one that's very good to take early game if you've got the mobility. And as you see with the Kranvagn at the minute, we're going at 52 kilometers an hour, which is fantastic for a heavy tank. Especially one with very, very good armour. And we're just going to rush into this position. Now, I don't want to go into that dip there. I want to take this position just over here. Because over here, I can get hull down. And I can spot that line as the heavy tanks push across. So right now, we've got a T-57 Heavy that is sat in the open. We go for the drive wheel shot. Unfortunately, we don't get it. But he's kind of oblivious to the fact that we're dropping a clip into him. Unfortunately, we don't manage to pen all 4, but we do get 3 in. And we're up to a good start for the game. We're up to 1,100 damage nearly. And we're just waiting for the reload. Now, I am actually spotting this guy as well, so I'm kind of hoping that artillery or somebody smashes him, because then they'll give me assistance. Because at this point, I am going for the 3rd mark grind. At this point, I'm at like 93%. And I was like, yeah, okay, we can do this. We just need to, you know, be careful, get the clips in where we can, and get as much assistance as we can as well, because that does help. So, we've now been spotted by this T-57 Heavy, but I'm hull down. I'm pretty vulnerable to that guy. And fortunately enough, he manages to bounce off our turret. We managed to finish him off. And we're all good. We're up to 2.2k damage now. Unfortunately, we missed the final shot on that LT-100. Yeah, the T-100 LT. And that would have been nice to shut him down, because they're annoying little tanks to have, because they'll hit us on the move all the time. And they do YOLO like this guy is doing right now. Fortunately enough, he bounces off my upper plate. And I'm just waiting for this reload to go in. And I'm like, please, please get this reload in. I want to shut this guy down. He is YOLOing about. Reload goes in. We end up preempting the reload by like an idiot. So we ended up not firing straight away. Then we repositioned our aim. We ended up missing him, which was frustrating. But now we've got 3 shots still left. Unfortunately, the 430U looked like he was going to full send, but he didn't. But we managed to get that final shot in to finish him off. We're up to 2.8k damage now. We've got a medium tank coming in behind us, which is the Cent 7-1. And I'm just going to try and get into a position to stay away from him. But fortunately enough, actually, the Projector 66 manages to finish him off. And I'm looking at the northern flank like a juicy snack. But just as I was thinking of going and YOLOing into position to get behind those guys, this Conqueror appears. And it's like, oh, hello, Mr. Conqueror. How's it going? Well, I might take a hit here from this man. But it's like, well, yeah, I'll just track him in place and then drop the whole clip in. I'm not really fussed. Because at the end of the day, I've got a lot of health. And we managed to actually ammo rack that poor Conqueror. And we shut him down. But that's the thing with the Conqueror. It does have a ammo racking behind its drive wheel, so if you get lucky you can blow its head off. And we did manage to get lucky and blow its head off. Now there's an ST1 coming in, and it's like, oh, okay, hello sir. He fires on the move, manages to miss us, and it's like, well, okay, I'm nearly reloaded. So again, I can take a hit. I've got all the hit points. Now we're nearly reloaded. We auto-aim one into his back, which is a bad mistake because we were ricochet. But we need to get away from this guy, because once I've dropped the clip, he's going to be able to kill us. And unfortunately, we managed to bounce the last shot in the clip, but we did get 2 in. Which means that he's pretty much, you know, a 1 clip for us now. But there's also this Badger that's coming in behind us. I think it was a Badger anyway. And, yeah, that's the reason we had to get out of there. Because if we stayed with that ST1, we were going to die. Because he was going to kill us. We didn't have the clip potential to kill him. And there was a Badger coming. And, you know, that tank has incredible DPM and would have killed us. But now I'm reloaded. I've got a Jagdpanzer coming in. It's like, oh, okay, Mr. Jagdpanzer, I'm going to help you, because he is charging. He can put this ST1 down to a 1-shot, or he could even kill him, and he does kill him. Now there's just this Badger all isolated, all alone. There's me and a Jagdpanzer, and it's like, well, okay then, I'm going to get you. I want to drop 1,600 into this Badger, and then, you know, he can get finished off. But he's not looking our way, so we go for the drive wheel shot. We end up tracking him and breaking his engine, but unfortunately he repairs it. We do it again. And this time we know he's going to stay there. We managed to get the final 2 shells in. I was actually... It's a bit of a mistake there. I was waiting for his tracks to come back on so I could instantly instantly track him and break his engine again. And then it'd give me a little bit more time to reload. But he ended up repairing his tracks a little bit quicker than I thought was going to happen. And he managed to get away from that position. But like I say, he had a Jagdpanzer coming up behind him, right? That meant that he was never going to get round to shoot me. And in fact, actually, I was probably thinking, you know what, if I wait enough time here to retrack him, that Jagdpanzer is going to come round, shoot him, and I'll get the assistance on him for like 200-300, you know, which is exactly what we want. But we're up to 7.2k damage. This game's going brilliantly so far. We've only got heat rounds left, and we're up to 7.2k damage and 509 assistance. Now, we know there was 2 heavy tanks over here, and it's like, well, okay, I'm going to get on this ridgeline and see if I can find them. So we end up finding the 279E, and it's like, oh, hello, friend. Well, we've got heat in, which is perfect for shooting at this man. We get 1 in, we get 2 in, but this 279E is awkward to pen. We get 3 in, will we get the 4th in? He's doing all he can to wiggle, and we bounce the 3rd. Now, that's, like I say, that 279E is an awkward customer, because even with the heat, we only have like 300 or 310 heat pen. It's not the best, and it will struggle with that guy. We end up getting hit there by the 705, and I think it looked like he fired HE there. I'm not quite sure. But we're up to 8.4k damage. The reload's nearly in. This M46 is just drifting across in the open. It's like, well, okay, then I will shut down this M46. We get 1 in. Go for the second shot. Finish him off. We've got 2 rounds left. Now the 279E is here. And it's like, oh, hello, sir. He stops looking at me, so I get 1 into the back of his turret. Go for the back of his turret again. And now we're reloading. We're up to 9.5k damage and 509 assistance. Now, we're up to 10k combined, which is fantastic so far. We've got 1 clip in. I know this 279E is above me. He's going to be an awkward customer. I know I can kill him with 1 clip, but it's going to be very, very awkward to kill. Now, unfortunately, he ends up proxy spotting us there just as he was going over. That's not what I wanted. I wanted the surprise element here so I can get some shots into his side, but it is what it is. We're going to come up on top of this ridgeline, and this is where we're going to make some mistakes. Now, I'm looking at this guy. I cannot pen him like that. There is no pen in this guy, and I sort of hesitate a little bit, pull back, and he manages to get a shot into my turret. I should have pulled back and waited for him to hopefully YOLO me a bit more, and I pull up and think, oh, I've got enough time, right? So I track the 279E. He repairs, but this 705 is actually behind us. We get a shot into his side, that 279E. I make mistakes. This is me being stubborn, trying to survive. I should have realised I'm dead. I'm dead there. And I should have realised and gone for the pen to get over 10k, to make sure that I make them less healthy. But I didn't. I died. But we finished the game with Ace Tanker, high caliber, 1766 base XP, 9,900 damage, nearly 10k. Unfortunately, couldn't quite break that 10k barrier. Like I say, mistakes. I should have realised I'm dead. I still had shots in the clip. And I should have dropped them to make sure that I penned them into the 705 or the 279E to shut them down or to make them less healthy so that it was easier for my teammates to finish them. But instead, I was stubborn. I tried to survive. And in trying to survive, I ended up getting killed and not doing any extra damage there. Mistakes, but it still was a great game. And it ended up putting us on 94.2, I think it was. And then this was the game straight after. Now, it took me 7 games to go from 92% to 95, or 95.3, I think is it after this. It took me 7 games. 7 games of averaging, I think it was 8.7k combined. The lengths you have to go to 3-mark, like tier 10 tanks now, is absolutely mental. Because I was on a hot streak. That's the only reason I managed to 3-mark this Kranvagn, is the fact that I was on a hot streak. 8.7k combined is just ludicrous to have to get enough to go up that 7 games. Realistically, to gain even 0.3 for the Kranvagn, I was having to do like 5.5, 6k damage. To go up like 0.2, 0.3. And when I was hitting the 10k combined, which was happening, right, this is what I mean by a hot streak, 8.7k, you know, I only had, in this streak, I only had 1 game where I did less than 6k. And all the other games were like this one or like the one you've just seen where it was like, you know, 10k combined and you're pushing very, very good damage numbers. And 10k combined was enough to go up 1%. But if I had 1 game where I did 3.7k damage and the team, it was a blowout, you know, it was just a typical game where an autoloader can't thrive, where the game is really quick and you just can't reload quick enough. You manage to get like 3 clips off and then the game's over. And I did 3.7k damage and I dropped 0.3. And it was like, that's a 6k game, which, you know, don't happen all that, you know, 6k games don't happen all the time. And if you want to 3-mark it and you're having a 3.7k game, which is, you know, a very average game for a 3-mark grind, and you're dropping the same amount as it does to do a 6k game, it's just painful because it's like, okay, I have 4 of those average games where it's 3.7k combined, which is, I say, if you're doing 3.7k, that's not horrific, and you drop in the same amount as you would gain from 6k. It's just painful. It just makes it pain, because you manage to get that 6k game, you have a good 6k game, and then you end up having those 4 mediocre games where you're doing 3.7 to 4k. Well, it's going to take 3 more of those 6k games to gain what you want and to help keep moving, and it just makes the grind exceptionally boring, and it just requires so ridiculous amounts. It's frustrating, because the way the MOE system is at the minute, it's just a lot of take and no give, right? Because you're having to do these mad games to get what you need. But then when you have the average game, which, by the way, is fine. If you have to have mad games to get up to 3 marks, well, that's the whole point of the 3-mark system, right? Is to be the best of the best in that sort of area and do the best you can consistently. But when you're having your percentages drop a lot for something that's not even that bad, it's just painful, which is why I haven't really been going for them. This is just, I was playing the Kranvagn, and I was having a hot streak, and it felt great. And I was loving the Kranvagn, and, we had some ridiculous games, and we managed to get there, which is fine. But anyway, enough about the MOE system, anyway. We're on to Prokhorovka. This is the 3rd game. We're up to 3.1k damage, 1900 assistance. I'm in a position right now where I can spot these guys on this one line. Because I'm spotting them up, I'm getting assistance. I mean, we're up to 5.6k combined at the minute. I know I'm not going to drop now. I'm probably going to gain 0.1, 0.2 right now. I know I'm at 94.37 or something like that. I need probably about 8k, 9k to get to where I want to be. So I want to push this game as much as I possibly can. So being at 5.7k combined now, 5.8k combined now, 4 minutes in, and there's still so many tanks alive, I'm like, this has got potential. So I want to get into position to get my damage out on these guys over here. There's this M48 120mm and a 1600 health E4, or 1593. It's basically my clip potential. I know if I get some shots into this guy, we're going to push up, we're going to get some good increases. But unfortunately, he's looking at me, and with the E4 buffs and 248 APCR pen, I cannot pen that man where he is like that. So I'm like, okay, this M48 120mm is trying to make it awkward, so we get 2 shots into him, which is nice. We've still got 2 shots left. The M48 120mm is going to make it awkward, but he gets shut down by the Progetto 65. Like I said, I can't pen that E4 when even looking down at him, because the Cupola with 248 pen isn't going to pen. Unfortunately, we end up not getting the shot into that guy because of the dead wreck or some cover. But it is what it is. We go for the reload. Like I say, there's still 8 tanks left. Probably all fairly healthy as well. And yeah, this game is looking very, very promising for our 3rd mark grind. Because we're at, what, 6k? We're at like 7k combined. So I know that if I probably get another 1,000 right here, I'm probably going to push myself up that 0.7 that I need. Because that'll be 8k. But I'm not sure, because of the way the MOE system is, I'm not exactly sure. So obviously you just want to push it to be the best it possibly can in this game. So we're trying to get some shots into this IS-7. We get a shot into his Drivil, because I know this is where I'm going to be able to pen him. And we managed to shut him down. We've got 1 shot left, so we're going to get it into this T62A. And we slap the shot into that guy. Now we boost our reload with food, and we're just going to hide in this bowl for a second while we reload. Wait to get unspotted before we decide to move up and get into a different position. But now we're unspotted. That T62A was moving away, and it was like, okay, I want to move up. I want to get myself into a position to spot that corner, K7, but I want to do it safely. So I'm going to push into a position where I'm going to possibly spot anything that might be still camping at K2. There's nothing there, so I'm like, okay, there's nothing there. I want to move up to position to spot K8, K7, all that area there, because I spot those guys, I'm getting tons of assistance. We're up to, like, nearly 9, well, we're at 9k combined now, and we're just YOLOing in on this T62A. We're finishing him off because we knew we could finish him off with the clip, with change, which is this 1 shell in the clip. We're up to 9.6k combined, and we've got 1 shell left, and it's like, okay, let's see if we can finish off. I think there was a FV4005 sat under this bridge, but I didn't realise at the time it died. But we end up spotting this E5 that's sat in the corner, and it's like, well, okay, I'm going to stay safe so this guy doesn't kill me with his pretty damn decent DPM, but I'm keeping myself in a position where I can keep lighting him up. We're up to 10k combined now. I'm just waiting for this reload to go in. We managed to ricochet him there, and we get a little bit more assistance on him, but unfortunately our team was just close enough now that I wasn't getting as much of the spotting. But we're going to get this final clip in, which is nice. I'm thinking, yes, finally, I'm going to be able to get another clip in to do some damage at these guys. We end up spotting them up, which I'm hoping will get me some more assistance. We'll try and pop a shot at this 268 version 5. Unfortunately, bounce off his upper plate, get another one into him. Preempt a reload again, which is something I do quite often, which is annoying. Managed to get a shot into him. But again, because we're spotting those two guys, we got a lot of the assistance. We ended up getting over 1,300 assistance on them, and we finished with another fantastic game for the Kranvagn. We finished with 2 kills, 7.5k damage, nearly 5k assistance, like, 13k combined, or something like that, 12k combined. Ace tanker, sniper, high caliber, the 3rd mark of excellence, 1,914 base XP. A fantastic game for the Kranvagn. It's a tank that I really, really enjoy. It's one that I'm very, very happy I've managed to 3 mark. Even with the annoying way the MOE system is. And yeah, it's great games for the Kranvagn. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!